Hello, this is Elise editing in the public interest. On my video 3 about my 13 years stuck in double fraud and crime still happening, one fraud in which I was intimidated and could have been killed, and second in which my mum was abused and died. Before I go into fraud proof, I'm going to introduce you to some of my many pieces of evidence about abuse and other crime that has happened in these frauds. First is an email dated the 9th of July 2014. It's already gone through my Twitter. One of a couple of 100 emails I sent to the CQC and OPG about abuses happening to my 89-year-old mother through the care system. In this particular email, I sent photographic evidence of abuse of my mum at a large Devon care home to the CQC on the case, which was handled by CQC Inspector Joe Walsh. This inspector also knew about crime and fraud that had happened to me elsewhere before this. During months of sending evidence to her while abuses were going on, she would not move my mum from this care home. I met this inspector at the care home and had correspondence from her. The case reference is 1140 300 9693 at the CQC. In probate, it came out that large sums of money were stolen out of my mum's bank accounts when this injury and other abuses were happening while the fraud was going on. This was part of the second fraud, the inheritance fraud. This is not the only instance where harm happened to my mum while money of hers was being stolen from her during this period. The key thing is when I rang the CQC for them to revisit this abuse, when a fraud emerged soon after my mother's death, I was told the case was not in their records. So this is case reference 1140 300 9693 at the CQC. So where has all the evidence on this case gone at the CQC? Has it been destroyed? The second piece of evidence is a letter to me from Devon County Council, dated 13th of August 2014. This letter has also gone through my Twitter. It's ordering me to remove the photographic evidence I have of safeguarding level injury to my mother at the large Devon care home from my blog. I put the photos of my mum's abuse there to expose what was going on and to try and get help for her. Yes, you will see, I'm told if I don't remove the photos, they threaten to restrict my visits to my mum. I'm accused of aggressive and threatening behaviour. Untrue. I was only trying to protect my mother. Also, they deny me the right to visually or audially tape any meetings. I will read it to you now. This letter, 13th of August 2014, sent to me from Social Care Services, Barnstaple Complex Care Team, Barnstaple Health Centre, Vicarage Street, Barnstaple. Please note when I'm reading this letter that I'm just calling my mother Mrs. P. So the letter addressed to me: I'm writing to you in my capacity as Health and Social Care Community Services Manager for Barnstaple Complex Care Team and the manager with day-to-day operational responsibility for the North Devon Continuing Healthcare Team. The team has responsibility, the Continuing Healthcare Team has responsibility for funding the management of the care of your mother, Mrs. P, currently residing at Flemington Manor Care Home. Flemington Manor have raised a number of concerns regarding some instances of personal information in relation to Mrs. P being shared publicly online which do not appear to have had her explicit consent and consequently would not be in her best interests or in accordance with the fundamental principles of respect, dignity and right to privacy. Given this level of concern, an adult safeguarding strategy meeting was arranged, and this was held on Thursday the 7th of August. This meeting was attended by representatives from Devon and Cornwall Police, North Devon Healthcare NHS Trust, and I acted on behalf of Devon County Council in my role as chair. The focus of the meeting was as follows: a number of photographs and personal details regarding your mother, Mrs. P, had been placed on the internet by you without her consent, and these were included in a blog called Afterfill at WordPress, that you have been and continue to be verbally aggressive and threatening towards the manager and staff at Flemington Manor Care Home, and there is a concern that this behaviour could jeopardise the placement. The conclusion of this adult safeguarding meeting was that Mrs. P is a vulnerable adult who does not have the capacity to give consent or agree to the actions you have been taking. I would therefore respectfully request that in consideration of your mother's personal dignity and best interests, you consider immediate removal of her photographs and personal details from Twitter and any other social media sites. Furthermore, the Safeguarding Adults meeting concluded that your present behaviour towards care staff in the home is a matter for the managers and owners of the care home to address with you in the first instance. Nevertheless, I feel I must tell you that this behaviour is deemed to be inappropriate and unacceptable, given that continuance could potentially put the placement at risk. Regarding the proposed meeting at 10 a.m. on Friday the 8th of August 2014, I would like to apologise for the impromptu nature of the event. However, as I was due to be away from the office for a number of weeks, I felt it necessary to try to meet with you at the earliest opportunity. I understand why you would have declined, and therefore I'd like to request that you meet with a member of the North Devon Continuing Healthcare team, Trudy Tyzak, Continuing Healthcare Nurse Assessor, at your convenience, but in the near future. Please advise Flemington Manor of your availability or contact Trudy Tyzak via this number. And she gives the number. Please note that Trudy is likely to be accompanied by a colleague, Chris Thomas, Community Services Manager. We would be happy for you to bring a supporter or advocate to the meeting. It is important to note that no permission can or will be granted for you to record the discussion, either visually or audially. However, a draft recording of the meeting letter will be forwarded to you afterwards for your agreement in respect of content, issues discussed and actions agreed. In the event, however, that no agreement can be reached regarding the appropriate sharing of information and other actions currently deemed to not be in the best interests of my mother, a formal best interest meeting will be convened under the Devon Adult Safeguarding Procedures, the likely result of which could be to place a level of restriction on your daily visits with your mother at Flemington Manor Care Home. However, I feel sure that you would not wish to continue with any activity that would not be in your mother's best interests or that could potentially put this or future placement at risk, and as such continue to present a safeguarding concern. If in my absence you wish to discuss these matters further, you may in the first instance contact Trudy Tyzak as advised above, or ask to speak with the manager colleague covering for me, Chris Thomas, via her personal assistant on 01271 869 136. Please be assured that we would be happy to assist you to facilitate the changes needed to positively and appropriately address the current situation and or improve your relationship with the management and staff at Flemington Manor Care Home. Yours sincerely, Des Hutchins, Health and Social Care Community Services Manager, Barnstable Cluster. CC, Corinne Tops, Manager, Flemington Manor. Malcolm Corlett, Safeguarding Officer, Devon and Cornwall Police. Trudy Tyzak, Continuing Healthcare Nurse Assessor. Sharon O'Reilly, DCC Safeguarding Adults Team. So, I did not remove the photos of the safeguarding level injury. Safeguarding means serious enough to go to the police. So I did not remove the photos from my blog that I put up to try to get help for my mother. Somebody else did. But those photos were on the email I sent to the CQC, and I have put them through my Twitter. I will be coming back with a lot more information and evidence on my mum's abuse through the care system while money was being stolen from her on this fraud case. This fraud case is being rubber stamped in the Exeter Court under Judge Griffiths. I have had no lawyer due to no legal aid, despite being defrauded for over 13 years, no PSU help, no witnesses, no journalist present, journalists wouldn't come. Had the PSU looked at only the most minimal of evidence, they would have known something seriously wrong was going on. Keep following my videos.